these were my first impression about Germany. Guys, come with me on a little grocery shopping while I tell you on different ways you can save money on groceries here in Germany. The sun is shining so much today. Oh my god, hope this goggle is not making me, this glasses is not making me look weird. The cheapest stores you can find here in Germany are Aldi, Lidl, Penny, and Netto. When shopping here in the grocery stores in Germany, when you see prices with this red color on it, it means those products are on a discounted price. So you should definitely look out for products that have discounted prices. Most of the stores here in Germany now have apps, so you should definitely download the apps of the most frequently used store that you go to. So here's my Penny app, and here I have offers of different products that are on sale for this weekend. And also, I also have coupons in the app where I can activate these coupons. And when I am done with my shopping, I only need to scan the app, at the cashier, and then the prices will be slashed for me based on whatever coupon I decided to activate. There's another app called the Payback app. Now, Payback as a company is affiliated with different stores here in Germany. So the app basically helps you collect points on every single product you buy. And then when you have accumulated so much points, you can actually use those points to purchase something entirely new for yourself. So all you have to do is if you go to a store where Payback app is used, you can just scan the Payback app at the cashier and then your points get accumulated. Okay guys, so we are back home. I wanted to respond to a comment someone left in one of my videos. She was asking what my first impression about Germany was, how my first few days was. Was it simple for me? Was it hard for me? So these were my first impression about Germany. My first impression was the country is beautiful. Everywhere was very clean, looking all around. I didn't know that Frankfurt Airport is different from Frankfurt itself, because the time I went to Frankfurt, it wasn't as clean as the airport area and the surroundings. But we came in summertime, so the weather was not so bad. I was still feeling a little bit of cold, even though it was in summertime. Maybe because it was a change of environment, or because I was still in the postpartum phase. I don't know, but quickly over time, I started assimilating into the hot weather. So it didn't. I was not prepared for the winter of that year. The winter of that year shocked me. So the second thing for me, which was a shocker, and I don't know why, was the German language. Because in Nigeria I was learning A1 German. So I knew, Germany speaks German, but like, I guess mentally I didn't think that coming here, everybody I meet on the streets would just be speaking to me in German. Like, every time I walk up to someone to ask, like, please, can you show, like, I want to say something in English, and it's like, mm-mm, you know like, they do not either understand what I'm saying, or they don't feel like speaking English. Like, I couldn't really wrap my head around what the problem was at the time. And it's not like I'm living in a village or something like that. So the language, it dawned on me like, okay, like, you're in Germany. Okay, German is the language, and you have to learn how to speak it. My first meeting at the Auslander Beholder, the foreign office, same thing. I kind of felt like, okay, since it's the foreign office, like, okay, should be a safe space for foreigners. They would speak English or something, but the opposite happened. They would speak to you in German. And the only thing that made it a bit easier is sometimes when they are trying to explain something to you in German and you're not really getting it, they might use like hand gestures to, help you understand what's happening. So yeah, the second thing I quickly realized was German is actually very important for you to be able to live in Germany. Like, Yes, some Germans know how to speak English, and some of them know, but they actually don't like speaking it. So, anyhow you want to spin it, you can't do without the language. Like, it's so important. Then, another thing that I noticed at first was how they really, you know, take you taking care of your child is very important, because at the time we had already started my daughter on some necessary vaccines in Nigeria, and then we moved down here. When we came here, it was like, oh my god, they checked everything. They had to check her eyes, her ears, her teeth, like every single thing, all the bones in her body. Like, they examined her thoroughly, So I was like, oh, okay, that's good. Then the public transport system for me was a bit hard. I'm not lie, it was a bit hard. I was so confused for, I mean, the first 2 months, it was so confusing. I don't know. Did I ever have the experience of? I don't think I've ever had the experience of missing my stop. But even at that, it's. I really had to push myself so much to be able to understand, like, how to use the tram system and all of that. Like, my husband kept explaining it to me several times, but it was not really just sticking like that. But over time, I got used to it. So the public transport system, it's somehow easy, but it's not as easy as a lot of people make it to seem. Grocery shopping in Germany is like a sport. Because, see, when you go grocery shopping in Germany, cashiers, they are so fast. Like, they just keep taking your stuff like fast, fast, and you have to be fast about it, because, like, and also you have to come with your own bags, because in Nigeria, when you go for grocery shopping, you're given a bag. Like, every of the supermarket have a bag, and it's usually not paid for. But in Germany, you have to either pay for it, or you come with your own bag. Nobody's going to give you a free bag, and you have to be very fast while while packing yourself. So that was like, because I like to me, shopping is like a therapeutic experience. I like to take my time. I like to just do it like slowly and chilly and all that. But Germany really, really humbled me, that aspect. So when it got to the social aspects, I would say it's not easy. I keep saying it all the time, especially people who are extroverted, they will find it really hard. I am not extroverted. I think I'm an intro or an ambivert, but like, I found it very, very hard. It was lonely at that time. I was postpartum, and you know how postpartum period can be for a lot of mothers. And I'm in a new country, in a new place. I didn't have friends at the time. I didn't even really understood everything that was happening around me at the time. My husband goes to work, so during the day I spend most of the time just me and my child. I walk around the city, go to the parks, but there was never a period in time where anybody ever walked up to me and were like, hi, how are you, or something like that. Because back in Nigeria, usually when you see a mom with a child, it's either you just be like, oh, hi baby. From there, you and the mom can start talking, or you just be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, she just had a baby, and you just want to know how she's doing, because you understand, like, it's not so easy. But in Germany, everybody tends to keep on their own. Nobody's walking up to you to ask you anything. Nobody's walking up to you to strike a conversation or have small talks. Nobody's gonna say anything to you. So if you're the type who really loves and craves for social connections so much, you would actually find the first few days or weeks very, very difficult, especially if you come in winter period. Because I came in summer, but still at that, it was like, it was not so easy. A lot of people then advised me, oh, join club, join this, join that, because that's the usual advice you would get. People will tell you, join a club, join a society, join all those things. Till now, I still do advise people to join, because you might just be lucky. Okay, but my experience, I joined there's something called the Elton Cafe, where mothers go, with their little baby, just to, it's like once in a week, just to have a bond with other mothers like yourself, and kids can bond with each other. I joined one, but the experience was the same. Like, when I go there, I'm like, hello Morgan, like, that's it. Like, nobody would, no, they would just like, oh, hello, reply your greetings back, but then nobody would make an effort to make a small talk. Like it has to always either come from you, and even when it's coming from you, you have to be careful how you go about it. Like, you don't have to be so smiley and so chatty, because they'll kind of look at you like, okay, who is this person? So the club I joined, it defeated the purpose of me joining in the first place. I didn't get any sort of bond or friendship from it, or any, it didn't make me feel any different. So I just stopped going completely. And that's the reason why I keep enforcing like, you have to find happiness within yourself. Romanticize your life, your days. It's not easy, okay, but during that time is when I got to understand the importance and the value of doing these things. You do not need so much external influence to be able to really enjoy yourself. Like, do you understand? Germany would teach you that. Like, over time, it get better with time. Sorry for the breaking transmission. So, yeah, and another thing I noticed was, in Germany on Sundays, most places are closed. You still see restaurants that open, places where they sell food you can eat, but like, majority of the places are closed. Sunday is like supposed to be a very quiet day, especially if you come to small cities. If you go to a very, very big city, you might not really notice it so much, but when you come to small cities, like, everywhere is very quiet. Okay, there is no noise happening anywhere. So overall, I would say my experience the first few months I came, I would give it a 6 out of 10. And the reason is because every other thing that I experienced was a bit of a culture shock, but it's not like as if it affected me so much like that. It was just that, okay, I'm saying things that are different from what I'm used to. But the only aspect that was super hard for me was the aspect of communication, because when you come in and you already have a child, like, you're raising a family, you would be forced to go to so many offices, make termines, appointments with so many places, kindergarten, doctors, different doctors for different things. So just that basic communication was just super hard. I remember one time I bought a SIM card then, and then I wanted to configure the SIM with my phone so I can be able to browse and all that. And then I called the customer care. Oh my god! And he was speaking to me in German, and I was like, okay, expressions in English, or do you have somebody else that speaks English I can speak to, so that the person can explain to me what I'm supposed to do? And he just kept speaking German. They don't have anybody who speaks English that works with them. And I'm like, oh my god. So in my head, I'm like, what if it's somebody that probably have like zero idea of what German is? And so what am I supposed to do? I would just be lost in, like, I'm in the ocean, like lost in the sea or something like that. So just something as basic as that, it just gets you all riled up, that kind of a thing. So that communication aspect was the only thing I would say that, like, really made it. But every other thing was not really. So yeah, every other thing was just that communication aspect. So that was it. That was my first impression when I came to Germany. So see you guys in my next video. Bye.